Are you tired of chasing happiness only to find yourself more stressed, stuck, and frustrated than ever? What if the way we think about happiness is the real problem? What if we've been going about it all wrong? It's time to uncover a surprising truth to help you break free from the happiness trap. Today, we're diving into The Happiness Trap by Dr. Russ Harris, a powerful book that challenges everything we've been told about pursuing happiness. Dr. Harris is a leading expert in acceptance and commitment therapy, and he's spent decades helping people overcome anxiety, stress, and emotional struggles. But this isn't just another self-help book. No, this is a roadmap for living a life of meaning and fulfillment. A life where happiness isn't the ultimate goal, but where living authentically and embracing the full range of human emotions is. If you've ever felt trapped by your emotions, stressed by the pursuit of happiness, or overwhelmed by the pressure to feel good all the time, this book is for you. In this audiobook, we'll break down the most powerful insights from the happiness trap and offer actionable strategies you can use right now to transform your mindset and live a life with purpose and clarity. Key takeaway 1. The happiness myth. Let's start with a big one. The myth of constant happiness. How often have you heard someone say, "Just be happy," or "You deserve to be happy all the time"? It's everywhere. On social media, in advertisements, from well-meaning friends and family. We've been sold this idea that happiness is not only possible, but that we should feel it all the time. That happiness is a destination we can reach if we just try hard enough. But here's the truth. Chasing constant happiness is unrealistic, and it's setting us up for failure. It's like running a race with no finish line. No matter how fast you run, no matter how hard you try, you'll never get there. Dr. Russ Harris calls this the happiness myth. The belief that happiness should be our permanent state, that it's the ultimate goal of life. But here's a radical thought. What if happiness isn't the point at all? Instead of chasing happiness, what if we learn to stop avoiding discomfort and start embracing it? The uncomfortable moments, stress, frustration, anxiety, are all part of the human experience. And here's the kicker. They don't have to stop us from living a meaningful life. They can enhance it. When we stop running from discomfort and start embracing it, that's when we can truly experience joy, connection, and fulfillment. It's not about avoiding the tough stuff. It's about learning how to live with it. The next time you feel frustrated, anxious, or down, remember this. It's not a sign that you're failing. It's just part of being human. And when you embrace those moments instead of running from them, you'll find a deeper sense of peace and meaning in your life. Key takeaway 2. Acceptance over avoidance. Now that we've discussed the myth of constant happiness, let's dive into what we can do when those uncomfortable feelings, stress, anxiety, sadness, inevitably show up. Do we push them away? Do we fight against them? Or do we try to ignore them? Here's the thing. Fighting against our emotions often makes them stronger and harder to manage. So, what's the alternative? Dr. Harris offers a revolutionary idea, acceptance over avoidance. Rather than trying to push painful thoughts and feelings out of our lives, we can learn to make space for them. This doesn't mean we have to like or welcome them, but we can stop struggling against them. Instead of getting caught in the endless cycle of, "I shouldn't feel this way," or "I need to get rid of this feeling," we simply allow the feelings to be there without letting them dictate our actions. Imagine what life would look like if, instead of fighting every negative emotion that popped up, you just accepted it, noticed it, and let it move through you. That's true emotional freedom. The power to decide how to act, even when emotions are high, without being controlled by them. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation or giving up. It means making room for life as it is. The next time you experience a difficult emotion, try pausing for a moment, acknowledging it without judgment, and letting it be. Key takeaway 3. Diffusion. We've discussed embracing discomfort and accepting our emotions. But what about those unhelpful thoughts that seem to pop up and take over our minds? You know, the ones that tell us we're not good enough, or that something bad is going to happen. These thoughts can loop over and over, fueling stress and self-doubt. But what if there was a way to break free from these negative thought patterns? This is where diffusion comes in. Diffusion is a technique that helps you detach from your thoughts and see them for what they are. Just thoughts, not truths. Imagine you're sitting in a room and your thoughts are like clouds passing by. Instead of grabbing hold of each cloud, analyzing it, or letting it shape your reality. You simply observe it as it floats by. You don't get caught up in the story it's telling you. You don't take it personally. You simply let it pass without reacting. Dr. Harris calls this diffusion. By learning to diffuse your thoughts, you can stop being controlled by them. You don't have to believe every thought that pops into your head. You can say to yourself, "That's just a thought," and let it go. This simple shift can have a huge impact on how you feel and how you respond to life. Next time a negative thought pops up, like, "You're not good enough," instead of reacting, just notice it. Say to yourself, "That's just a thought," and let it float away. You don't need to buy into it. You are not your thoughts. Key takeaway 4, mindfulness. We've covered embracing discomfort, diffusing unhelpful thoughts, and accepting emotions. But here's the real secret. None of this matters if we're not fully present in the moment. How often do we find ourselves lost in the past, regretting something we did, or worrying about the future? We get so caught up in what has already happened, or what might come, that we forget to live in the here and now. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness is the practice of staying fully present in the moment. Instead of letting your mind wander off to the past or future, you focus on what's happening right now. You pay attention to what you can see, hear, feel, and experience in this very moment. Think of mindfulness as hitting the reset button on your mind. When you practice mindfulness, you shift your attention away from worries and regrets and center yourself on what truly matters, the present moment. For example, imagine you're drinking a cup of coffee. Instead of rushing through it while thinking about your next task, focus on the warmth of the cup, the smell of the coffee, and the taste as it hits your lips. That's mindfulness, and it can transform your experience of everyday life. By practicing mindfulness, you'll become less reactive to negative thoughts and emotions and more able to live with intention. Whether you're having a conversation, doing a task, or simply breathing, mindfulness helps you fully engage in the present. Key takeaway 5, clarify your values. Now that we've talked about mindfulness and staying present, let's move to another crucial piece, living a life aligned with your values. How often do you make decisions based on what others expect or what society tells you is important? Maybe it's about fitting in, achieving success in a certain way, or simply following the latest trends. But deep down, you might feel disconnected from what truly matters to you. This is where clarifying your values comes in. Dr. Harris emphasizes that when we know what truly matters to us, our core values, we can make choices that align with what's meaningful to us. Living a life based on values means we are grounded in what's important, rather than swayed by external pressures or fleeting emotions. So, take a moment to reflect. What values drive you? Is it a connection, freedom, creativity, health? When you identify these values, they become your inner compass, guiding your decisions and actions. Living in alignment with your values gives you purpose and direction. It helps you make choices that resonate with your true self, rather than chasing temporary goals or following what others expect of you. Key takeaway 6, the choice point. Every moment of our lives presents us with a choice point. Life is full of choice points. It's the moment when you decide how to respond to what's happening around you based on what truly matters to you. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. You feel your frustration rising. You can feel the tension in your body, your thoughts starting to spiral into anger, maybe even towards self-criticism. Thinking about how you're late and how much this situation is ruining your day, that's a choice point. At this moment, you can choose to either react to the frustration with more anger and stress, which might affect your mood for the rest of the day. Or you can pause, take a deep breath, and choose to shift your mindset, maybe by reminding yourself that you can't control the traffic, but you can control how you respond to it. You might focus on listening to an audiobook or take it as an opportunity to practice mindfulness. Throughout your day, you are faced with countless moments like this, whether it's deciding how to react to a challenging email, how you respond to a conversation that doesn't go your way, or even how you treat yourself when you make a mistake. These moments are choice points, and at each one, you can either move closer to the person you want to be, or move further away from the life you truly want to live. The trick is to recognize these moments when they happen. So often, we react automatically, based on old habits, past conditioning, or the emotions we're experiencing. But when you pause and take a moment to ask yourself, What action aligns with my values right now? You bring consciousness to your choices. For example, if your value is patience, you might choose to pause before responding to an upset colleague instead of snapping back. If your value is health, even if you're tired after a long day, you might choose to honor your body by going for a walk rather than skipping your workout. If your value is kindness, you might choose to offer a compliment or a helping hand to someone in need rather than remaining distant or indifferent. By becoming aware of these choice points and practicing pausing before reacting, you develop the muscle to make conscious decisions. The more you do this, the easier it becomes to consistently choose actions that align with your true self, moving you closer to your goals and values. Key takeaway 7. Commitment to action. It's one thing to know what your values are, to understand that discomfort is part of life, and to be aware of your choice points. But the real transformation happens when you take consistent action. This is where commitment to action comes into play. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that you need everything to be perfect before you take action. Maybe you feel like you need to plan every detail of a new project before starting, or that you need to have all the answers before making a change. But the truth is that progress is more important than perfection. Think of it this way. It's not about having a flawless start, but about taking small, steady steps forward, even if they feel uncomfortable or imperfect. Let's take the example of committing to better health. You might have a long-term goal of running a marathon, but looking at the full picture of what's involved might feel overwhelming. Instead of waiting for the perfect time, or when you're fully prepared, commit to taking one small step at a time. Start by walking for 20 minutes a day or choosing healthier meals for the next week. Even if you feel tired or unmotivated, do it anyway. The discomfort you might feel is a sign that you're pushing your boundaries and growing. Here's the key. Action creates momentum. The more you act, even in small ways, the more confident you'll become. The more you practice discomfort, the more you'll realize it's not as threatening as it seems. It's often an indicator that you're on the path toward growth. Over time, these small actions compound and lead to big results. Progress doesn't happen overnight, but each step you take, even when it feels difficult, gets you closer to the life you want to create. Remember, commitment to action is about consistency, not perfection. Don't wait until everything is in place. Just start. You don't need to have all the answers, but you do need to keep moving forward, even when it feels uncertain. Action steps for commitment to action. Set one small, achievable goal each day that moves you closer to your long-term vision. Embrace discomfort as part of the process. Remember that growth often feels awkward or challenging at first. Keep track of your progress, not to judge yourself, but to celebrate how far you've come, even in small steps. Key takeaway 8. A rich and meaningful life. When we think about happiness, we often envision a life free from pain and discomfort. We believe that happiness means constant joy, or that once we achieve a certain goal, we'll finally feel fulfilled. But what if the true richness of life lies not in the absence of pain, but in how we approach and embrace it? A rich and meaningful life isn't about avoiding discomfort. It's about learning to live fully, even with life's challenges, and embracing the spectrum of human experiences, both the highs and the lows. Dr. Harris helps us realize that fulfillment doesn't come from the pursuit of constant happiness or pleasure, but from living in alignment with our values. The key is to lean into life's challenges and use them as opportunities for growth. It's about developing resilience in the face of difficulty rather than running from discomfort. For example, when you experience sadness or grief, instead of avoiding it or pushing it away, you can choose to lean into those emotions. By accepting them, you allow them to pass through you, and in doing so, you gain deeper wisdom and understanding. When you face failure or setbacks, instead of seeing them as signs of defeat, you can see them as valuable lessons that teach you resilience, problem-solving, and perseverance. A rich life is one where you honor both the light and the dark, where you recognize that challenges, struggles, and discomfort are not obstacles to happiness, but rather integral parts of living a meaningful life. It's about finding fulfillment not by avoiding pain, but by fully engaging in life with all its complexities. Living according to your values, committing to action even when it's hard, and embracing the full range of emotions. This is what creates a life that feels rich in meaning and deeply fulfilling. How to create a rich and meaningful life. Embrace the ups and downs. Understand that life's challenges are inevitable. Instead of avoiding them, approach them with curiosity and the mindset that you can learn something valuable from each experience. Live in alignment with your values. Choose actions that reflect what truly matters to you, rather than chasing fleeting external goals or societal expectations. Focus on the journey, not just the destination. Enjoy the process of growth and self-discovery, knowing that the pursuit itself, no matter how imperfect, is what adds richness and depth to your life. In the end, a meaningful life isn't about feeling happy all the time. It's about embracing life fully, navigating both the joys and challenges, and finding peace in the process of becoming your authentic self. This is what leads to deep fulfillment, not despite the struggles, but because of them. In the end, a meaningful life isn't about feeling happy all the time. It's about embracing life fully, navigating both the joys and challenges, and finding peace in the process of becoming your authentic self. This is what leads to deep fulfillment, not despite the struggles, but because of them. If you're ready to take the next step, start by identifying one small action today that aligns with your values. For deeper insights, grab The Happiness Trap by Dr. Russ Harris and continue your journey toward a richer, more fulfilling life. If you enjoyed this audiobook, please consider leaving a review or sharing it with someone who might benefit. Thanks again for listening, and take care as you move toward living authentically.